Child Care Customer Rights and Responsibilities Information Program. Our goal is to make sure you understand your rights and responsibilities as a customer receiving child care assistance through Workforce Solutions Northeast Texas. This program has 9 sections that explain different rights and/or responsibilities while receiving child care assistance. Child Care Customer Rights and Responsibilities Information Program. Number 1. Work, training, and education. Number 2. Family income. Number 3. Reporting changes. Number 4. 60-day wait period. Number 5. Attendance. Number 6. Parent share of cost. Number 7. Choosing my child care arrangements. Number 8. Appeals. Number 9. Complaints, grievances. Section 1. Work, Training, and Education. I understand that I am able to get child care so I can work, go to school, or be in job training classes. I cannot get child care if I am not working, going to school, or in job training classes for at least 25 hours a week. If I have a permanent loss in my working, school, or job training classes, I will notify Child Care Services, CCS, within 14 calendar days of the change. Section 2. Family income. I understand that I qualify for child care based on my family's income and size. If my family's income exceeds the 85% SMI that is explained during my application process, I will report within 14 calendar days of the change. Section 2. Family income continued. I understand that if I fail to give CCS information on my family's income or size, that it may be considered stealing and that criminal charges may be filed against me through the Texas Workforce Commission. My child care assistance will end and I will have to repay the amount owed. For example, if I am working 2 jobs but I only report 1 job and only income from 1 job is counted in my family's income, this is considered theft of services. Section 3. Reporting changes. I understand that it may be considered stealing child care services if I continue to receive child care and I do not notify CCS within 14 calendar days. If my income goes above 85% SMI, I have a permanent loss of employment or training, and if I move or have a new telephone number. I understand that failure to report the above could result in my child care services being terminated, my file reviewed for possible fraud, and I may have to repay the amount owed. Section 4. 60-day wait period. I understand if care is ended due to excessive absences or non-payment of my parent share of cost, I will not be eligible to reapply for child care services or be placed on the wait list for services for 60 days. Section 5. Attendance. I understand that my child or children may not have excessive absences. Excessive absences are 40 days in a year. I understand that I must notify my child care provider of my child or children's absence. I understand that my provider is required to report when my child or children are absent 5 consecutive days. I understand that 8 5-day reports will be grounds for termination of the child or children's child care assistance. Section 5. Attendance continued. I understand that if my child was out due to a chronic illness or disability, I can supply documentation to verify illness and/or condition. I may not be penalized. I understand that if my child has a court-ordered visitation with a non-custodial parent and I supply the complete court order to Workforce Solutions Northeast Texas before the visitation, I may not be penalized. If the visitation will go over 2 weeks, I may request a suspension. I understand if my child or children are absent for 40 days within my 12-month eligibility period, that care will end and I will have to wait 60 days before reapplying. Section 6. Parent Share of Cost, or PSoC. I understand it is my responsibility to pay my PSoC in advance of care. I understand my provider can disenroll and is required to report my child or children for failure to pay my PSoC. I understand that failure to pay my PSoC could result in my child care ending and having to wait 60 days before I can reapply. Section 7. Choosing my child care arrangement. I understand that I have the responsibility of choosing the person or persons that will care for my children. I have been informed of the child care options available to me, including my ability to choose a licensed child care center, licensed child care home, registered child care home, or an eligible relative provider, who must be listed with the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services to care for my child or children while receiving child care assistance. I understand that if I choose a relative provider to care for my child or children, they must maintain a separate residence and be related to my child or children by blood, marriage, or court decree, and be the child's grandparent, great-grandparent, aunt, uncle, or adult sibling who is at least 18 years old. Section 7. Choosing my child care arrangement continued. I understand that my relative provider must complete the process to become listed provider with the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, DFPS, before my relative can be paid to care for my child or children. I understand that all individuals in the listed home are subject to criminal background checks, including checks against the Texas and federal sex offender registries, and checks against the DFPS Child Abuse Central Registry. I understand that if I misrepresent the relationship between my child and children and the person I choose as a relative provider, that criminal charges may be filed against me with the district attorney or county attorney. My child care assistance will end, and I will have to repay the cost of my child care paid to my relative provider.
Section 8. Appeals. I understand I have the right to appeal the decision to end my child care assistance. I understand my assistance may continue through my appeal process, but I will have to repay amounts owed if the appeal determination is affirmed. If my child care ends due to failure to pay my parent's share of cost or excessive absences, my children cannot remain in care during the appeal process. In order to appeal my termination, I must write an appeal letter and submit the letter and notification of termination form within 14 days of the date of the termination notice, or I waive the right to an appeal hearing.
Section 9. Complaints and Grievances. I understand that I have the right to have complaints and grievances heard without the threat of losing my child care assistance. I have received written information in my parent handbook that explains the complaints and grievances process. Conclusion. You have successfully completed the Child Care Customer Rights and Responsibilities Information Program. In order to receive credit for completing this program, you must read and agree to the statement below. Thank you for using the Child Care Customer Rights and Responsibilities Information Program. If you have any questions about the information provided in this program, please contact CCS at 903-794-8999 or 800-874-3226 or email ccs@netxworks.org.